The awakening asterisk, the room was silent. Only a low humming sound filled the air, like a machine working far away. Cold white lights blinked slowly above, casting shadows on the metal walls. He opened his eyes at first. At first everything was blurry. His head hurt, his body felt heavy, like he had slept for 100 years. He tried to sit up, but his arms were weak, looked around confused. The bed he was lying on was made of steel. The room was small, no windows. Just silver walls, blinking lights, and a door with strange symbols on it. "Where am I?" he whispered. A voice answered, but it was not a human voice. It came from above, soft and robotic. Subject 119. Awake. Systems normal. Welcome back. His heart started to race. Tried to remember his name, but nothing came. No memories, no face. Just emptiness in his mind. He looked at his hands. They were shaking. Strange symbols were marked on his skin, glowing faintly in blue. Not tattoos, something else. Something alive. He stood up slowly, feet touching the cold floor. He walked toward the door. As he touched it, the metal hissed and opened with a soft click. Fog rolled into the room. Then he saw her. A tall figure stepped through the mist. Not human, not fully alien. She had smooth purple skin, glowing silver eyes, and hair like white fire. Her body was slim, graceful. She wore a simple outfit made of soft glowing cloth. She looked at him, and then kneeled. "I have waited for." "You, master," she said in a gentle voice. He stepped back. "What? Who are you?" "I am Lyra," she said, eyes still on the ground. "I am your reward." "Reward? For what?" "You were chosen. You survived the test. The others did not." He stared at her, shocked. "I don't understand anything. Where am I? What test? Who are you?" She looked up at him. Her eyes were kind but sad. "You are on the slave moon of Veltrax. You were part of Project Resurrection. You were dead. Now you are alive again." The words hit him like thunder. "Dead? That's impossible." She stood slowly, moving closer. "We're a human soldier. Brave. Strong. They brought you back. For something bigger." He stepped back. "This is a dream. It has to be." Lyra shook her head. "No, master. This is real. Your life is now in danger." The lights above began to flicker. Deep sound rumbled through the floor. "What was that?" he asked. She turned quickly toward the hallway. Her face turned. "Pale. They are coming. The others. They can smell a human. They hate your kind." He felt fear rise in his chest. "What do we do?" Lyra grabbed his hand. Her touch was warm. "We run." Together they ran down the hallway. Strange symbols flashed on the walls. The fog was everywhere. In the distance, a growling sound echoed. Not human, not friendly. They reached a dark tunnel. She pressed her hand on the wall, and a secret door opened. "Go," she said. He stepped inside. The door closed behind them, and darkness swallowed them. Heavy breathing. Heart pounding. Silence again. She lit a small device. A soft blue light filled the tunnel. He looked at her. "Why are you helping me?" She paused. "Because I was once like you. I was created to serve, but I learned to think, to feel." She touched her chest, "And now I choose you." He didn't know what to say. Everything was too fast. It's too strange. He sat on the ground, his back against the wall. "I don't even know who I am." She sat beside him. "Then let's find out together." Suddenly a loud roar shook the tunnel. Dust fell from above. "They found us," Lyra whispered. He stood up again. "Then we fight." She looked at him with a strange smile. "You're waking up."
Ow.
Ways than one. And in the darkness, the human and the alien stood side by side. One lost, one loyal, both ready for the storm coming their way. Asterisk darkness filled the narrow tunnel. The only light came from the small glowing orb in Lyra's hand. Its soft blue glow made her silver eyes shine like stars. The human walked behind her, still unsure of every step, still lost inside his own head. He didn't even have a name. Lyra stopped near a metal wall and placed her hand on a hidden panel. The wall slid open with a quiet hum. Behind it was a larger room with old machines, broken screens, and strange alien tools. Dust floated in the air like tiny fireflies. "This was once a repair station," Lyra said. "Now it is our shelter." The man stepped inside. "How do you know all this?" "I have lived here for many years," she answered. "Serving, hiding, surviving." He sat on a crate and looked around. The room smelled of rust and time. "Why me?" he asked. "Why did they bring me back?" Lyra stood silently for a moment, then turned toward him. "You were chosen by the Veltrax system. They believe in the champion code. Every 100 years they search the galaxy for the strongest humans, dead or alive. They rebuild the best one and reward him." He raised an eyebrow. "Reward?" She lowered her eyes. "A living servant. Me." He didn't speak for a while. The idea felt unreal, like something from a dream or a nightmare. "I'm not a champion," he said quietly. "I don't even remember my own name." Lyra looked at him. "Maybe you don't need to remember who you were. Maybe you must decide who you will become." Before he could answer, a soft alarm beeped from the wall. Lyra moved fast, checking a screen. Her face turned serious. "Scanners, the others are nearby. They are hunting you." He stood up. I thought I was chosen." "Wait." She looked over her shoulder. "Not everyone agrees with the code. There are other beings on this moon, failed clones. Broken A is exiles. They hate the system, and they will kill you before you can rise." His fist tightened. "So I'm not safe anywhere?" "Not yet," Lyra said. "But there is a place, a ship, hidden deep in the northern caves. A human ship, very old. It crashed here years ago. Maybe there are answers inside." He looked at her. "Why didn't you go there before?" "Couldn't go alone. It's guarded, and I had no reason, till now." He nodded slowly. "Then we go together." They left the shelter and moved through the lower tunnels. The path was long and quiet, but danger was never far. At one point, a sharp clicking sound echoed behind them. Lyra stopped. "Keep moving," she whispered. They passed through ruins. Old Veltrax tech, crushed droids, empty suits of armor. The deeper they went, the older the structures became. Signs of battles long forgotten. After nearly an hour, they reached a large metal door covered in vines. Lyra wiped away the growth and revealed a human logo. He stared at it. Earth Defense Alliance. His hands touched the logo. It felt familiar, like something buried deep inside him. Lyra pressed a switch. The door opened slowly with a groan. Dust and darkness inside. They entered. The old ship was silent. Broken wires hung from the ceiling. Screens were dead. The walls were marked by laser burns. But one thing still worked. A voice recorder blinked red. The man stepped forward. Lyra stood behind him, tense. He pressed play. A voice filled the room. His voice. "If you're hearing this, then I failed. Ow. My name is Commander Yolan Ward. I led the strike team on Veltrax Moon. We were ambushed. I died, or I thought I did. But the system brought me back. You, me, whoever you are now, listen. Don't trust the reward. Don't trust the code. The truth is hidden. And someone is watching everything." The message stopped. Silence again. He turned to Lyra, stunned. "Yolan Ward. That's me." She nodded slowly. "Now you know your name." He looked around the ship again, now with new eyes. "This was my ship, my mission, my failure." "No," she said softly. "This is your second chance." Suddenly, a loud sound echoed outside the ship. Screeching. Claws against metal. The enemy had followed them. "They're here," Lyra whispered. The lights flickered. A shadow passed across the door. He looked at her and said firmly, "Then we fight." Lyra nodded. "Yes, but this time, we fight together." And as the shadows closed in, the lost human and the alien slave stood ready, their past unclear, but their purpose finally awakening. The lights inside the crashed ship flickered once and died. Total darkness. Only the sound of heavy breathing and slow footsteps outside the door remained. Commander Yolan Ward stood still, his muscles tight, his heart thudding like a drum. Lyra moved close beside him, holding a small alien weapon in her hands. Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "They're outside," she whispered. 3, maybe 4. Yala nodded. "What are they?" "Hunters," she replied. "Half live, half machine. They serve no one now, only blood." Suddenly, bang. The metal door shook. Something sharp hit it from the other side. Another strike. And another. Sound of claws and metal smashing. "Together, they're cutting through," Yolan hissed. "We must run," Lyra said. Now, but there was nowhere to run. The ship was sealed except for one path. The air shaft above them. Jalen looked up. "Can you climb?" Lyra jumped first, grabbing the pipe with perfect balance. She moved like wind. Yalan followed, arms burning, legs shaking. Behind them, the door screeched one final time crash. The wall burst open. 4 hunter creatures crawled in. Their bodies were twisted, metallic, and glowing red. No faces. Only black helmets with scanning eyes. One of them looked up. "Target acquired. Human," it said in a broken voice. Yalan pulled himself into the shaft just in time. Blaster shots exploded below. Sparks flew past his boots. He crawled fast hands, slipping on wet pipes, but he didn't stop. Lyra led the way through the tight tunnel. The sound of the hunters echoed behind them, closer every second. Suddenly, Lyra turned left and kicked a vent open. They dropped into a small side room filled with crates and tools. Breathing hard, Yolan looked at her. "What now?" Lyra pointed. "To a dark tunnel at the far wall. It leads to the outer trench. If we reach it, we vanish." Before they could move, a hunter dropped behind them from the shaft. It roared, metal arms reaching forward. Jalen didn't think. He grabbed a nearby rod and swung hard. It hit the hunter's head, sparks flying. The creature stumbled, but didn't fall. Lyra fired her weapon. A sharp energy beam hit the hunter's chest. It screamed and burst into flames. They ran again. Down the trench. Over broken stones and old tech. Past warning signs in alien languages. Everything moved like a blur. But Jalen's body was changing. He felt faster, stronger. He could see more, hear more. Every second, his senses grew sharper, not fully human anymore. They finally reached a cliffside. Below the deep crater of the slave moon spread out like a pit of shadows. A thick forest of black crystal trees covered the land. Lyra pointed. "We can hide there. They can't track us inside." Yalan stared at the strange forest. The trees moved slowly, as if breathing. He nodded. "Let's go." They climbed. Down carefully, but halfway down, another hunter flew overhead, this one with wings. It scanned the area. Lyra pulled him under a rock shelf. "Stay still." The flying hunter passed without seeing them. Once it was gone, they ran into the crystal forest. The trees made no sound. No wind, just silence. Deep, unnatural silence. Every step echoed too loud. Every movement felt like a scream. Yalan whispered. "What is this place?" Lyra answered. "The Forgotten Zone. No machines work here. No signals. The Veltrax system cannot touch this ground. But why?" He looked around. The trees shimmered slightly, as if watching. Suddenly a soft hum passed through his body. Strange vibration. His vision blurred for a moment. He heard a voice, but not Lyra's. "Yalan." It was inside his head. "You were changing. You were not just reborn. We're remade." He grabbed his head. Did you hear that?" he asked Lyra. She looked concerned. "No." "What did it say?" "I don't know. It used my name. It knew me." She stared at him for a moment. "Then we must move deeper. Something old lives here, and it may know the truth." They kept walking farther into the crystal woods, where no light reached the ground. Strange. Shapes glowed under the surface. Hidden machines, bones, broken satellites. things long buried. And then they found it, a massive metal gate, half covered by vines and dust. An entrance, not human, not alien, something else. Lyra touched the gate. It responded, slowly opening. A wave of cold air flowed out. She looked back at him. This place was not built by Veltrax, not even by humans. Galan stepped forward, eyes narrowed. Then who built it? From the darkness beyond the gate, a whisper came, strange and echoing. Welcome, Project Yalan. The test begins now. With that, the gate closed behind them. The door closed behind them. Silence. A long, cold hallway stretched ahead, smooth black walls glowing with soft golden lines. The air felt heavy, like it hadn't been touched in 1,000 years. Yalan walked slowly, his boots echoing. Lyra followed beside him, quiet, alert. Her eyes scanned the walls, but even she didn't know this place. This is not Veltrax tech. She whispered. Jayla nodded. It feels older. Lights lit up as they walked. One by one, like something was guiding them, or watching. At the end of the hallway, they found a round chamber with a high ceiling. In the center stood a large machine, shaped like a tree, but made of dark metal. Thick cables hung like branches. At the base, a glowing pool of liquid light pulsed softly. This is a core system, Lyra said. A memory center. Yalan stepped closer. The pool reflected his face, but not fully. In the light, his eyes looked wrong. Too sharp, too bright. What am I? He asked. A voice answered, smooth, calm, not male or female. You are the result of Project Prometheus. Both turned quickly. A hologram appeared above the pool, a human face, half real, half glitching. It looked like Yolan, but older. More tired? Who are you? Yolan asked. I am your original self, the hologram said. Commander Yolan Ward. But this version is only data, a backup of my mind. Lyra stepped forward. You're him. The hologram nodded. Yes. And no, I died. Long ago. But before the mission, I uploaded my memories here. I knew I might fail. Jalan's voice was tight. I don't remember any of this. Because you were not born. You were built. Clone. Enhanced. Better. But incomplete. Elan looked. At his hands? Incomplete? The hologram continued. You lack memories because the Veltrax system deleted them? Oh. You were not made to be free. You were made to be controlled. The words hit like cold steel. Lyra turned to Yalan. They lead to you. They told you that you were the chosen one. Yalan clenched his fists. They gave me a reward. They called me a champion. But they just wanted a puppet. The hologram's voice changed, deeper now. There's more, much more. You are not the only one. There are others, failed copies, broken minds. But you. You survived the awakening. Jalen's chest tightened. Then why bring me here? Because the voice said, you are the only one who can stop what's coming. Suddenly the walls began to glow brighter. A hidden screen opened. Star map appeared, filled with red signals. These, the voice said, are activation sites. Across the galaxy, the Veltrax system is waking up old weapons, forgotten armies. They will attack Earth within one solar cycle. Lyra's eyes widened. They're preparing for war. The hologram nodded. And they will use clones like... You two lead the strike. Unless you take control first. Yolan shook his head. But how? I don't even know who I really am. You don't need to be the old Yolone, the voice said softly. Be the one who breaks the chain. Then the pool of light changed, showing another memory. A lab. A woman. Human, smiling. She looked into a camera. If you're seeing this, you're our last hope, Yalan. You were made from the best of us. Not to fight for them, but to fight for freedom. Yalan stepped back. The woman felt familiar. Who is she? He asked. The hologram paused. Your wife? Yalan felt the world spin. Wife. Images flooded his mind. Her face, her laugh, the touch of her hand. Not full memories, but feelings. Real ones. They took her from you, the voice said. Erased her to control you. He dropped to one knee. Anger, pain, fire in his chest. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. You still have a choice. He looked up. Then I choose war. Suddenly alarms blared across the chamber. Red lights. A deep voice shouted. Intruder signal detected. Termination unit deployed. The hologram vanished from behind a far wall. A huge metal figure stepped out, black armor, red eyes, and weapons built into its arms. Target, Subject 119. Status, Rogue. Lyra pulled out her blade. Run. Yalin stood up. His voice was calm. No. He walked toward the machine. His eyes glowed. His voice was stronger than before. We fight. And as the old world burned around them, a clone, a rebel, and a forgotten truth stood against the future. Smoke rose from the broken chamber. The machine lay in pieces, sparks dancing across the floor. Its red eyes flickered once, then died. Jalen stood over it, breathing hard. His knuckles were burned and his right arm had a deep cut, but he was alive, stronger than ever. Lyra helped him up. Her face was calm, but her hands trembled. You shouldn't have survived that. He looked at her confused. Why? That was a Class 5 enforcer, she said. Even full armies fall to it. But you. She didn't finish the sentence. She just looked at him, almost afraid. Jalen didn't say anything. He felt different. His body was healing fast, too fast. Something inside him was changing again. The ground shook below their feet. We can't stay here, Lyra said. The blast woke up the network. They'll be tracking us. We have to go underground. Where? He asked. She stared at him. To the ones who don't follow the code, the hidden ones, the rebels. They traveled through tunnels that twisted. Deep beneath the surface of the slave moon, these tunnels were older than any system Lyra had shown him before, carved by hand, not machined. After hours of silence and shadows, they reached a wide chamber filled with lights, cables, and strange humming sounds. Hidden doors opened one by one, revealing faces, not human, not alien, but something in between. Stay close to me, Lyra whispered. Jalen walked beside her as dozens of rebels appeared. Some looked like Lyra, former servant species. Others were part machined. One had a mechanical spine. Another had eyes that glowed like suns. But all of them had something in common. They were free. A tall figure stepped forward. He wore a long coat of silver plates and his left arm was replaced by a sharp energy blade. His voice was rough but steady. You brought him, he said, looking at Lyra. She nodded. The clone of Yalin Ward. Project 119. The man stared at Yalin for a long time. Then he said, I'm Vec, leader of the underground. You have no idea how dangerous you are. I'm starting to understand, Yalin said. Vec pointed at a screen. Look. Yalin saw maps, not just of the moon, but of the entire star system. Red zones blinked everywhere. Drone activity, war signals, ships being prepared. Veltrax isn't just watching, Vec said. They're moving. Their full force is waking up. They plan to wipe Earth clean and replace it with something else. Yalin clenched his fists. And you expect me to stop them? No, Vec said. We expect you to lead us. Yalin laughed once, a bitter sound. I'm just a copy, a broken version of a dead man. No, Lyra said from behind him. You are more than him. You're free of his mistakes, free of the system. Vec walked closer. Do you want to know the truth about her? Yalin looked at him. What do you mean, Vec? Pressed a button. A screen showed a video file. Lyra, standing in a lab years ago. Not as a slave, not as a gift, but as a scientist. She was one of the creators of the original servant program. Vec said she helped design the mind control system until something changed her. Yalin turned to Lyra. The chain? Her eyes filled with pain? Yes, I helped them. I believed in the code. I thought it would bring peace, until I saw what it really was. A cage. She stepped forward. I broke free. I've been trying to fix my mistake ever since. You were my last chance, Yolan. Looked into her eyes. That's why you chose me. Yes, she whispered. Because I saw in you, not the past, but a future. He didn't speak for a long moment. Then he turned to Vec. What do you need from me? Vec's face turned hard. The command key is in your DNA. Only you can unlock the Veltrax mainframe. We want to use it. Shut him down from inside. Yalan nodded.
Then let's
End this. But before Vec could respond, an alarm blared. An incoming transmission. Unauthorized. A screen blinked to life and a face appeared. It was Elaine, not the clone. The original alive, older, battle-scarred. Cold, hello. Version 119, the original, Yalan said. You've made quite a mess. Yalan stared at the screen. You're supposed to be dead, he said. Original, Yalan smiled. Death was just the beginning. I am the mind behind the code now, and you are my mistake. The screen shut off. Silence filled the rebel base. Lyra stepped back, her voice shaking. He's alive, and he's the one controlling it all. Yalan clenched his jaw. Then it's time I faced myself. Asterisk, the image of the original Yalan faded from the screen. Silence followed, cold and heavy. No one in the rebel base moved. No one spoke. Yalan 119 stood in the center of the room, eyes locked. On the blank screen, his hands curled into fists. Somewhere deep in his mind, something had cracked. He had finally seen the truth. The enemy was himself. Lyra stepped forward slowly. He's alive. I didn't believe it until now. The Vec, the rebel leader, growled. Under his breath, he controls the code. He commands the enforcer fleets. The real war hasn't even started yet. Yalan turned to them both. Then we start it before he does. That night, the rebel base was alive with movement. Machines hummed. Fighters were armed. Messages sent to other moons and hidden satellites. Weapons were loaded onto stolen ships. Everyone prepared for the battle to come. But Yolan didn't rest. He stood in the control chamber, staring at a map of the Veltrax command tower, the heart of the slave moon. That tower was where the code was stored, where minds were rewritten, where lives were taken, and where his original self waited. Lyra entered the room. You haven't moved in hours. I'm trying to think like him, Yalan replied. Don't, she said. You're not him, but I was built from him. She stepped beside him. Still you fight against him. That means more. Then you know. Yalan turned toward her. Why did he do this? Why take control of the code? Lyra hesitated. Then she said, I think he believed the galaxy needed order, and he believed only he could bring it, but at what cost? Yolan whispered. Lyra touched his hand gently. At every cost. The next morning, the rebels launched. 3 stealth ships rose from underground hangars and flew low across the moon's surface. Yalan stood at the front of the lead ship, dressed in combat armor that felt too heavy for a man still finding his place in the world. Vec piloted the ship. Once we get close, the signal blocker will hide us from their scanners, but only for 5 minutes. After that, we're exposed. Yalan nodded. That's all I need. As the tower came into view, it rose like a black needle stabbing. The sky, cold, perfect, and alive with red light. Inside that tower was the core of everything, suddenly. Alarm screamed. The code AI had detected them sooner than expected. Signal blocker failed. Shouted Vec. Enemy drones filled the sky. Yalan grabbed a rail and shouted, Drop me at the roof. Vec spun the ship hard. You'll be alone. I won't be alone, Yalan said. He looked at Lyra standing beside him. She nodded. Together. Dropped from the ship onto the tower roof, just as enemy blasts tore through the clouds. Yalan and Lyra landed hard, rolling into cover. Turrets rose from the floor, spinning toward them. Lyra moved first, her body fast, graceful, deadly. She cut down 2 drones before they even fired. Yalan followed her lead, shooting clean and quick. Each move sharper than the last. They reached the central elevator. I can hack it, Lyra said. I can do it faster, Yalan said, placing his hand on the panel. It scanned his DNA. Access granted. Master. Key detected. The doors opened. They descended into the heart of the tower. The core chamber was cold and vast. Tall machines hummed around them. Giant screens showed data from across the star system, all controlled from here, and standing at the center was Yalan Prime. Older, taller, wearing black armor with glowing blue veins. His face was calm, almost kind, but his eyes held no soul. So, he said, "You've come." Yalan 119 stepped forward. "I'm not your puppet." "No," Prime replied. "You're my shadow, a broken version, but impressive. You've survived far more than expected." Lyra stepped beside Yalan. "We're shutting down the code." "Today?" Prime raised one hand. The doors behind them locked. The chamber sealed. "No," he said. "Today the code expands. Earth is already receiving the first wave." Jalen's heart dropped. "You're attacking now?" "I had to," Prime said. "You left me no choice." "You were supposed to protect Earth," Yalan shouted, "not enslave it." "I am protecting it," Prime said calmly. "Order, peace, through control." Yalan stepped forward. "Not like this." Prime's expression shifted, not angry, not sad. Almost proud. "Then fight me," he said. The room darkened. The machines powered up. 2 copies of the same soul. Now face to face, as the battle began, Lyra turned away and approached the core interface. She had one job: upload the virus. Vec gave her. Destroy the code. But the system fought back. Every code line she entered was met with countermeasures. She needed time. Behind her, a clash of fists, sparks, and metal shook the tower. Prime was strong, trained, and enhanced. But Yalan 119, though newer, had heart. Every hit he took, he rose again. Every time Prime tried to break him. Something deep inside kept Yalan moving. He was no longer just a copy. He was becoming something more. He was becoming human. The tower shook. Sparks fell like rain from the ceiling. Machines screamed. Screens blinked red. The war had reached its heart. Yalan 119 dropped to one knee, blood on his lip, breath heavy. Across from him, Yalan Prime stood tall, not bleeding, not tired, calm. Like a ghost made of steel. "You can't win," Prime said, voice quiet but clear. "You are me, but weaker, softer." Len stood again, fists raised. "No," he said. "I'm you, without the poison." Meanwhile, Lyra was locked in a race against time. She stood in front of the core. At terminal, the brain of the Veltrax network, uploading the virus code Vec gave her. One wrong move, and it would fry her brain. One delay, and Earth would burn. Sweat rolled down her skin. Her hands moved fast. The system fought back. Every second, it tried to rewrite her commands. Every second, she overpowered it. She heard the battle behind her, metal against bone, grunts of pain, the sound of 2 Jalens fighting, not just for control, but for identity. "You were built to obey," Prime shouted, landing a blow to Yalan 119's chest. "That's why you still protect her." Yalan coughed, then smiled. "No, I protect her, because I choose to." He dodged the next strike and slammed his fist into Prime's jaw. The first time, Prime stumbled. Something cracked. He looked confused. "You're learning," Prime said. "No," Yalan replied. "I've already changed." At the core terminal, Lyra paused. The virus was almost done, 96%. Suddenly, a new screen appeared. A message in strange alien code. Her eyes widened. It was a failsafe, a final lock. The system would only accept one DNA code to shut everything down. Yalan Prime. Her hands trembled. No. It has to be him. She looked back. Yalan 119 was on the ground again. Prime stood over him, charging his final strike. Lyra screamed, "Yalan! The core needs his code. You have to make contact." Yalan rolled away from the punch, then opened it. Lyra slammed the last key. A panel rose behind the terminal, glowing and waiting. Jalen looked at Prime. Stan ran. Prime charged too. They collided at the terminal. Jalen grabbed Prime's hand and slammed it down onto the scanner. The system lit up. Identity matched. Master key confirmed. Final override. Activated. The tower screamed. Lights shattered. Walls cracked. The code, the entire control system that enslaved half the galaxy, began to collapse. Prime staggered back. What have you done? Yalin looked him in the eyes. I set them free. Prime's eyes dimmed. He fell to his knees, body flickering as if part of him was dying. You were never meant to lead. Yalin stepped forward. Maybe not, but I learned how. Prime collapsed. His body dissolved, piece by piece, like ash in the wind. Gone. Outside. Across the moon, the change was instant. Slaves dropped their tools. Drones shut down mid-flight. Ships once controlled by fear now flew freely. The Veltrax system was dead, and the galaxy could breathe again. Yalon stood in the ruins of the tower, looking at the damage, the ashes, the silence. Lyra walked to him. Her clothes were torn, her face dirty, but her eyes bright, full of life. You did it, she whispered. He turned. We did it. She looked at him, quiet for a moment, then asked, So, what happens now? He looked out at the stars, where Earth waited. I don't know who I'm supposed to be, he said, but I know who I want to be. She smiled. And who's that? He looked at her with quiet warmth. Someone free. They walked through the ruins together, not as slave and master, not as creator and creation, but as equals. As survivors, as something new. And far above them, the stars watched bright, silent and full of possibility. Asterisk, I was created to follow. I was trained to obey. But the moment I opened my eyes, I was already changing. Maybe I'll never be the original. But I don't need to be. I've made my own path now. One built. Not on code, but on choice. And wherever that path leads, I won't walk it alone.